Hey, hello everyone, my name is Chris and welcome back to another movie review. Today I'm gonna be reviewing Arctic, and as usual I'm quickly gonna go through the story of this movie to tell you in short what the movie is all about. Then I'm gonna share my opinions and thoughts about this movie, so in case you didn't watch it, one big spoiler alert across the screen. And if you are really interested in my opinions and thoughts about this movie, then stay with me till the end of this video and let's get started. Alright, so Arctic was released in 2018. It's a survival story, and I'm personally a big fan of survival stories. So this survival story takes place on Arctic, where one older man crashed with his plane and he's forced to survive in the most harsh conditions. He's forced to be inside his little plane wreck that he made little like shelter off, and he is surviving by fishing. He made bunch of fish traps and he's trying to catch some fishes to eat, to survive. At the beginning of the movie he is constantly climbing one little hill where he can like send SOS signal, and he's sending that SOS signal constantly day after day after day, but nobody's responding, and you can see that man being very lonely and very depressive, and you know, no matter what, he's still full of hope. He's still not giving up. He's doing whatever he can to survive and go back to civilization, until one day he manages to contact the incoming chopper. The SOS signal reaches that chopper, but unfortunately storm hits in, helicopter crashes, pilot dies, and pilot's wife that was also in the chopper survives, and that's in my opinion where movie gets really interesting. From that point on, it's just a story about two human beings trying to survive and get back to civilization, and that's it. That's the whole story of this movie. So there is no special story. It's a survival story, and I love it. The reason why I love it so much is because this older man is very positive and a very smart person. You know, he pretty much is out of any hope for being rescued. And like, he's trapped in the middle of Arctic. It's very cold, you know, you got those wild bears walking around, and it's just a question of day when one of them is gonna attack you and kill you. And you know, it's very cold. He has limited resources of food, and it's really hard and really harsh nature that you have to fight with. He's still positive about it. He's very calculated. He's measuring time on his watch when he needs to go back to his little shelter, and he's measuring time that he's spending sending the SOS signal. Pretty much that SOS signal was his only hope. But after that chopper crashes, he now has another thing to take care of, and that's the girl that survived the crash. And even though she's a complete stranger to him, he's gonna do everything in his power to save her life and take care of her. And in my opinion, that's really beautiful. You know, the movie shows really the beauty of human heart, and what humans can do for each other if they depend on survival. You know, not only that he did that because, you know, you're gonna save someone, of course, but he did it because, you know, he wasn't feeling lonely anymore. You know, imagine being trapped on the Arctic all alone by yourself, surviving for who knows how long, and then there you go, there's another human being next to you. Of course you're gonna be happy to see a human being next to you. You know, even though you have to take care of it, you have to spend your resources, your food, your water, and your medical supplies and everything, you're still gonna be happy and gonna try to save that person's life, because you don't wanna be left all by yourself again and trapped in that internal loneliness. And this movie is very depressive, but again, I like that positive side of this character. You know, no matter how depressive situation is, he still is positive, he still is trying, and at one point of the movie he decides to, you know, move from that shelter and to go to one like area where people are living or whatever, you know, the little area on the Arctic. They're actually not living there, it's just a station where people come from time to time, and that's his opportunity to finally get away from the Arctic, to survive. And he decides to leave his shelter and start his journey with an injured person into unknown. So through the whole movie, he is dragging that girl with him. I don't know, like, this movie really makes you question what would you do if you were in that situation. And that's why I love those survival movies. It always makes me wonder what I would do if I was in that situation. And I'm not gonna lie, this movie is so intense. It's probably one of the most intense survival movies I've watched. At one point, you think, alright, this is it, all hopes are lost. These characters are not gonna survive, the story won't have a happy ending. And then at second thoughts, something happens, something good happens, and you think, oh, okay, there is some hope, so this movie kinda loves to play with your feelings, at one moment it leaves you all depressed, and at second point it leaves you with a bunch of hope. Okay, something might happen, these characters might get out alive, and through the movie that happens few times, and it's amazing. I love the scenario, I love how things go in the movie and what happens. It's pure survival. It's just a story about two human beings trying to come back to civilization alive. And yeah, if you love survival movies, if you are into those depressive kind of survival movies, even though this one is not really that depressive because of a character, I think character did a great job. He is the only positive thing in this movie. Like, honestly, this guy is just really, really positive guy, and he's really trying hard to survive. And I love the things he does. He does make a lot of interesting choices and smart moves. When he decided to go to this journey to get back to civilization, he leaves markings on the plane wrecks and helicopter wreck. Like, two survivors headed that way, and they leave the date and they go. It's just really smart move. Imagine, like, if someone comes and find these wrecks and somebody's gonna read that, and it's like, oh, okay, there are survivors, they headed that way, we should go and check it out. It's not one of those movies where characters make idiotic choices. It's really realistic, and it's really hardcore. It's harsh nature, and it has really cold atmosphere because the whole movie is on Arctic, of course. And I love it. I love it. It's just two characters, and like I said, there is barely any words spoken in this movie. And soundtracks are also beautiful, in my opinion, like beautifully depressing, I would say. And I don't know, I really enjoyed this movie, and in general I would say that this movie was really good. For only two characters, I think this movie was pretty cheap to make, but it was so good. It was really, really good. And if you are into survival stories, I totally recommend you to check out Arctic. You're not gonna regret it. And it's one very intense survival story, and I enjoyed it for what it was. I don't regret watching this movie. It was really, really cool. Alright guys, so that was it for this movie review. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and leave a like, share, comment, or subscribe if you want. If you don't want to, you don't have to, it's totally fine. You can join my Chris Facebook group, link is down below in the description, together with my ass.fm, where you can leave any questions if you have any questions. And yeah guys, thank you for watching, and I'll definitely see you in the next videos. Chris out.